The mysterious disappearance of Maura Murray. On the evening of February 9, 2004, 21-year-old Maura Murray, a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, vanished in the remote woodlands of New Hampshire. Her disappearance has since become one of the most baffling, unsolved mysteries in modern American history. Puzzle of strange behavior, cryptic actions, and an abrupt vanishing that leaves more questions than answers. Maura was the fourth of 5 children, raised in Hanson, Massachusetts. She was bright, athletic, and ambitious, excelling in academics and sports. After a year at the United States Military Academy at West Point, she transferred to UMass Amherst to study nursing. By early 2004, she was in a long-term relationship with Bill Rausch, an Army lieutenant stationed in Oklahoma, and appeared to be on a solid life path. But beneath the surface, Maura's life in the weeks leading up to her disappearance contained unsettling signs of turmoil. On February 5th, she had a breakdown during her campus security job. A co-worker later recalled finding Maura crying uncontrollably on the phone with her sister, Kathleen. The reason for her distress remains unclear. Days later, she was involved in a minor car accident while driving her father Fred's Toyota Corolla in Hadley, Massachusetts. She had borrowed the car to go to a party. At around 3 a.m., she crashed into a guardrail, causing nearly $10,000 in damage. Fred was reportedly frustrated but not angry, and they spent Sunday, February 8th, together, shopping for cars. The next day, February 9th, Maura's actions would set the stage for one of the most perplexing disappearances ever recorded. That morning, she emailed her professors, claiming there had been a death in her family and that she would be away for a week. No such death had occurred. She then made a phone call to inquire about lodging in Bartlett, New Hampshire, a rural area in the White Mountains, over 100 miles from Amherst. Why she chose this location is still unknown. At 3:15 p.m., she stopped by the campus ATM, withdrawing $280 in cash, nearly emptying her account. Surveillance footage showed her alone. She also purchased alcohol from a nearby liquor store, Bailey's Irish Cream, Kahlua, vodka, and a box of wine. By late afternoon, she packed up her dorm room belongings neatly into boxes, removed artwork from her walls, and left Amherst, seemingly heading north. At 7:27 p.m. in Haverhill, New Hampshire, a resident called 911 to report a car accident on a dark stretch of Route 112, known as the Wild Amunisac Road. A black Saturn sedan had skidded off the road into a snowbank. The driver's side airbag had deployed, but the car appeared intact. Another resident, a school bus driver named Butch Atwood, stopped and spoke with the driver, a young woman he later identified as Maura Murray. She assured him she had called AAA and declined his offer of help. Atwood knew that cell reception was poor in the area and found her claim suspicious. There was little chance she could have called anyone. He drove home and called the police at 7:43 p.m. When police arrived at 7:46 p.m., less than 10 minutes later, Maura was gone. The car was locked, but inside they found evidence that suggested she had not simply wandered off for a moment. On the seat sat a box of Franzia wine. An open Coke bottle smelled of alcohol. Her belongings were still inside the car. Her AAA card, college textbooks, makeup, and most of the alcohol she had purchased earlier. Her debit and credit cards, however, were missing, along with her cell phone, none of which have ever been used since. The snow around the car told an eerie story. There were no footprints leading away from the vehicle in any direction. Tracking dogs brought to the scene traced her scent about 100 yards east down the road, then abruptly lost it, as if she had vanished into thin air or entered another vehicle. The initial investigation focused on the possibility that Maura had left voluntarily. She was a young woman with stressors in her life, academic pressure, relationship tensions, a recent accident. The theory that she might have intended to start over somewhere else seemed plausible at first. But as days turned into weeks, and then months, without a single confirmed sighting or digital trace, the voluntary disappearance theory began to crumble. Fred Murray was adamant from the beginning that his daughter had been abducted. He criticized the early police response, believing valuable time was lost in those first critical hours. He has maintained for years that Maura was the victim of foul play, possibly picked up by a predator passing through the rural area. Others suggested she may have succumbed to the wilderness fled, the crash scene, disoriented, and died in the freezing February night. But exhaustive searches of the surrounding woods yielded nothing. No clothing, no remains, no trace whatsoever. Theories have since multiplied. Some point to the timing of her disappearance. She vanished just days after the mysterious breakdown at work and the crash in Hadley. Was she planning to leave her life behind? Her packed dorm room and the lies about her family death suggest she intended to be gone for some time. Others look closer to home. Rumors have swirled about her relationship with Bill Rausch. Some online sleuths have questioned whether he might have been abusive, citing cryptic emails and phone logs, though no evidence has ever proven such claims. The most chilling theory involves the possibility of a serial offender operating in the area. The stretch of Route 112, where Maura disappeared, is desolate, bordered by thick woods and mountains. In the years following her disappearance, other women went missing in nearby regions of New Hampshire and Vermont, leading some to suspect a connection. Despite hundreds of leads, tip lines, and even private investigations, Maura's fate remains unknown. In 2019, authorities dug up a basement of a house near the crash site, after a cadaver dog allegedly signaled human remains, but nothing was found. In 2021, bone fragments were discovered in Loon Mountains, about 25 miles from where she vanished, but DNA testing ruled out a match to Maura. What makes Maura Murray's case so haunting is not just the lack of resolution, but the layers of mystery wrapped around it. Each clue raises more questions than it answers. Why did she lie about a family death? What was her destination? Did she intend to disappear, or was she running from something or someone? Her family continues to fight for answers. Fred Murray, now in his 80s, still visits New Hampshire regularly, handing out flyers and speaking to anyone who might know something. Somebody knows, he has said repeatedly. Somebody has to know what happened to her. In the years since her disappearance, Maura's case has taken on a life of its own in the digital age. Online forums dissect every detail, spawning thousands of amateur detectives trying to piece together the puzzle. Some see this as a testament to enduring hope. Others criticize it as exploitation of a family's grief. What is undeniable is that Maura Murray's story has become a modern cautionary tale. It is a reminder of how quickly a life can vanish, how a young woman can drive down a lonely road one winter night and never be seen again. It is a story of pain, of questions that echo louder with time, and of a family trapped in an endless wait for the truth. As of today, more than 2 decades later, the disappearance of Maura Murray remains officially unsolved. Somewhere in the mountains of New Hampshire, or perhaps far beyond them, lies the key to what happened that night. Until that key is found, the case endures as one of America's most enduring and unsettling mysteries.